We got over here, I like to call him the king of Comikaze. He's Keith Tralins, ladies and gentlemen. So,
Hello.
that was an incredible, fun weekend. We got a live studio audience. Yep.
Holy moly.
So, that weekend was insane. We all partied. The Comikaze party was so much fun. It was a very memorable weekend. Have you guys recovered?
I have not. I know Regina hasn't. She's not here.
Right.
Because she's still trying to recover.
Regina, drink a lot of orange juice or whatever else you need to get better.
Comikaze chicken soup.
Yeah.
I'm surprised as we've grown bigger and bigger how much work there is after the show. Like before the show leading up, we're like, if we just get to Monday, we'll be able to sleep. No, we're still loading out on Monday and then Tuesday.
That loadout is like an entire city. Like we were like in like a line of cars. We're like, what the hell's going on? Yeah, it was like, so I can imagine just how much paperwork you guys had to deal with.
It was crazy, but that's, it's all comes to the territory, totally worth it. Like we had this euphoria as we're going through it because the show went so well and people really seemed to have a great time and totally worth it.
Well, let's get into some Comikaze news. So you mentioned Carrie Fisher. She was there. She was sick for a minute.
So this is a great story. I don't think people realized. She is an unbelievable trooper. She woke up with about 103, 104 degree fever. She was not going to miss the appearance. She was late because it took her a while to sort of get the strength up.
That's not even, you're not kidding around. That's
sick. And she loaded up on like the ginkgo biloba or whatever and the Sudafed. And she came in and she did the photographs first. And nobody knew she was sick. She was fantastic. She glitters you when you go in. Everybody gets glittered. I had glitter on my face the rest of the show.
Right.
And then she came out and it really hit her. And people don't know this story, but there was a huge delay in her going and signing the autographs. A lot of people, and there were complaints because people didn't know. They thought she was off shopping or something. She was essentially passed out in a car out back. She couldn't move. She asked us, but she wouldn't leave. She asked us to take a couch and put it in her signing area so she could sign autographs and take pictures with people while she was laying down.
That's so cool.
Because she would not abandon the fans. And I went out back at around, she was supposed to start signing autographs roughly around 12:30. And I went out at, I think it was 4. And I said to her, Carrie, she had already vomited, just everything. I said, Carrie, you got to go home. You can't stay. You're sick. No one's going to blame you. The last thing I want to do as the show promoter is send home the star attraction, but you can't do it. And she looked up at me, and this is like highlight of my life now, right? She looks up at me and she says, "I'm Debbie Reynolds' kid. I ain't leaving."
Yes.
And it was like, oh my gosh. And I just kind of shrugged. I went, okay. And she got her strength back.
Wow.
And she stayed. We had to keep the hall open for an extra hour and a half. And she stayed and she got every single autograph signed with the exception of, I think we had to return like 14 of them.
Wow.
Because people just had to leave. They couldn't stay that long. But there were people there at 7:30. I mean, when we were getting ready for the party, she was just leaving the convention. So that's the way. That's old school Hollywood.
Hell yeah.
I am so glad that I got to see it, and she was just phenomenal.
Carrie Fisher, I love you. I love you. What an amazing story. And that's like true commitment to people, like her fans. She was like, look, I'm sick, but they're standing in line. So that's really...
And it was really difficult for us because people were saying, she's not here, I want a refund. Like people were getting frustrated because you don't want to be waiting.
Right.
And so we were like, look, we'll refund you, but she's going to, she's saying that she's going to be here. She's not goofing off. And... it was one of those things where we couldn't tell people she was sick at the time because we kind of didn't have that clearance. But she just, even with her being sick, when she was up, she was up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's an incredible story. I'm really glad that worked out. Star Wars, let's go to Star Trek.
Yes.
Let's talk about Kirk meeting the creator of Spider-Man. So Shatner, who I actually spent money on and got a photo, not a Comikaze, at another convention. I saw him and I was going to talk to some other people. And I saw Shatner and I was like, you know what? F it. I'm going to go spend some big money, throw it down, get a picture with Shatner. And I rock that and I love it. So you can check it out. It's on my Facebook page.
Sweet.
But anyway, so Shatner's there and then he's on stage with Stan Lee. How did that happen?
It was unreal. We've been working on this for months. Mr. Shatner has an imprint of a digital comic series that's coming out. And what he did with his imprint, it's to do his Man of War series, and he's really blowing it up. And it's actually a really great series, and he wants to do a lot with it. He's very creative. But he also because he's friendly with Stan, said, hey, Stan, you make comic books. Why don't you come do your next digital comic book, which is like a new technology, the way they're doing it, with me? And Stan said, sure. And we hadn't announced it yet. So we got to announce it sort of in the lead up of the show and got them together talking about what they were doing with this imprint label to really, start something new and special with a bit old school, prose. And Stan was excited, and Mr. Shatner was excited, and it was magic seeing them up there talking. They were up there with the whole team. What was really magical that people didn't get to see was backstage when Mr. Shatner arrived. And he came in and he went to the green room area, the holding area, and Stan was there, and there were some other people there, and the energy, it just became, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, there they are. And there's a picture, I got a picture of me talking to Bill Shatner, and behind me was Stan, and like, how do you get that picture with those two?
It's crazy.
Right? Totally lucky.
You guys get a picture of them shaking hands, like the Titans.
We do somewhere, yes.
Awesome.
We do somewhere, and it was Mr. Shatner's energy is up there with Stan's. Absolutely magic for those people who got to see that panel and get to hear him talk and ask some questions. I think they really, really enjoyed it.
Excellent.
It was great.
I am going to look for that picture of those guys shaking hands.
I will get it up.
So, also, you had a reunion for All That. Now, this is a very famous Nickelodeon kids show from the 90s. How did you get all those people together?
So this was a Regina thing. This a little bit of trivia. Where's my camera? There we are. This a little bit of trivia for you guys at home. The first Comikaze, the 3 attractions were Stan Lee, Elvira, and the first All That cast reunion. And those 3 things blew up Comikaze, and that's where we are today. And we wanted, because the first Comikaze obviously nowhere near as big as this one, we wanted people to have that moment again. So we were working, Regina just killed herself for months, talking with Lisa Foyles and the rest of the cast to get them there. And then when Kel committed, everyone else was like, yes, and it was great. 17 people on stage, and you can find this online. There's lots of news that covered it. We can't play it here for rights issues, but they sang the theme song, and it was raucous and crazy, and they took questions and they were telling jokes, and it was a magical moment. People were screaming. It was like the Beatles.
Wow.
And I'm too old for that. I missed it. I'm more of a you can't do that on television kind of guy. Original cast, by the way. But for this, it was an amazing moment. I know Regina was super psyched to have it. A lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Danny Tamborelli from Pete and Pete, also part of All That, so it was really fun.
And they hadn't seen each other in a long time, so behind the scenes what was going on was it was a real reunion where they were hugging each other and crying and catching up, and because they really were that tight.
There was no inside dirt. Give me the dirt, man. Who punched each other out? No fighting?
No. Manu Bennett and Liam McIntyre were gonna fight, but they figured they did that on camera already.
Yeah, that's already been played out.
Yes.
So let's talk about the wedding. What happened?
All right, so we had a wedding at Comikaze. We've been trying to pull this off for a couple years, but we had a couple that met in, I think, year 2. They met at Comikaze and started dating right there. And they were going to get married. And so they said, hey, it would be great if we could do this on the main stage, get married there. And we said, you know what, we'll make that happen. Sunday wedding, absolutely. And it was great. I don't know if we have the picture up. There's Summer Glau. And I have a good story about her. They had what's his name? There it is. Yeah, there it is. I mean, what's his name from Mad Max presiding, and he had the mask on, and
Mortis Joe.
Yeah, Mortis Joe. Yeah. Do you take Snow White? And it was great. They were totally in it. They had a whole wedding party that was with them everybody was geeked out. It was like an amazing geek wedding. And we're so happy that we got to have that happen.
That's fantastic.
And with Summer Glau, it had there's pictures of this online too on Summer Glau's website. A couple came in to take a photo with her in the photo booth, and right as they started taking the picture, he got down on his knee, and the photographer thankfully just started clicking the photos, and he proposed because they were they met over their love of Firefly. And so he proposed in front of Summer, and Summer had no idea, and her reactions are unreal. Her actions
are they going to get married at next year's Comikaze?
I hope so. We would do it.
Book your weddings now. Next, starting to book up. We might have like 17 weddings happening. Comikaze. Get it. Talk to Keith. He's going to help it set it all up. We'll have a special mid-Sunday brunch wedding special.
Yeah, if we get enough people, I can get Stan to preside.
That would be awesome.
But it would be like 100 couples would have to do it.
What about
and he'd marry
47 couples? That's almost 100 people. We'll figure it out. Anyway, if you want to get married, tie the knot next year, Comikaze 2016. I'll be there. I'll throw eggs at you. All right, let's wrap this up. Let's talk about prop making, the national prop making. What's this?
Okay, so we did something. One of the things that we really want to do at Comikaze is really showcase the talent that is here in LA and is nowhere else. And a lot of that is in sort of the artisans who make the movies happen. And the props are a really important part of that. I'm a prop nerd. I love collecting props. I think they're amazing. And you look at these things. So we put up $1,000 from a very generous donor and a lot of other prizes. And we put out the call. Kit Quinn ran it and Stephen Meisner. And what it was who's going to make the best prop? And it has to be real. It has to be an authentic, real craftsmanship. Couldn't buy any part of it. And I think what they came up with was unreal. And the winner was the one with the bow. But I mean, look at this stuff. I got to see it backstage as they were getting ready to go on, and I couldn't believe it. Up close, it's even better.
That's the guy from Dead Space. I think?
And they had to go through a very rigorous. They had to go through a very rigorous prejudging. And they were at, how'd you build this? What'd you do there? How'd you attach this? I mean, they were getting in there. We had some real pros judging it, and they did a great job. This was amazing. Hide your weapon right there in that big thing that she was lugging around with her the whole show.
Wow.
There's Kit Quinn. Really amazing stuff. So you can see sort of all the winners and everything from the Prop Making National Championship. And yes, we're going to bring it back next year.
Oh, definitely.
We're going to make it bigger. We're going to make it better. We want more entrants, and we want the craftsmen and artisans to have their moment in the spotlight. And we're looking at other ways too. We want to do stuff with animation, not like the key animators, but the guys that do things like previs.
Sure.
The guys that do the storyboards. Like these are really important things.
You know, it'd be awesome. What I would love to see at Comikaze next year is I would love to see like an all-day panel of just previs movies.
That'd be amazing.
The previs of Avengers: Age of Ultron, the entire 2-hour movie, but just in previs.
It would blow people's minds. Why they don't put more of that.
People don't even think about that. The entire film that you see, the finished film, is completely mapped out and storyboarded before they ever shoot anything. It's fantastic.
And for me, what I love the texture. I'm a texture nerd when it comes to animation. Like the Pixar hair that they did with Monsters Inc. And from then on, water effects, when they can get the eye just right. That stuff. That stuff needs to be recognized. I know they get Academy Awards, but I'm not going to say they're treated like second-class citizens, but it is one of the most vital parts of filmmaking and television making. It doesn't get its due, and so we want to spotlight it as best we can and give them that due.
Prop Making National, maybe you guys can also display some of the props so people can actually go up and touch them and maybe
we actually did do that. Yeah? There was a booth. We had the national championship, but we also had Fans' Choice. So we actually had all those props on display through the whole show, and you could come and vote for your favorite. And so the winner of this was, I believe, the alien gun, which probably went through. It was this alien gun that they did, and then the voted one was the bow and arrow.
Oh, sure.
Unreal stuff.
Well, what was your favorite moment?
That's an easy one for me. It's the kids' costume contest that happens on Halloween. It's kids, they're in costumes. It's not cosplay. It's costumes that they have poured their lives into, and they are totally committed to it. And the what they come up with and the way that they sell it is just phenomenal. It's the best part of the show. It's the cutest part of the show. The parents are all excited.
Can I add that not only do you guys have a kids' costume party, but Comikaze gives all of the vendors a giant amount of candy to give away to all these kids. So they have like a Halloween where all these kids come with their parents and all the kids are dressed up and they walk up and they go trick or treat, and you're like just giving them giant amounts of candy. You're like, oh, that's for your cavities. That's for your goodness. And sometimes you'll let them pick. Do you like these sugar things or do you like Reese's cups? They're like, I like the Reese's. You're like,
and there was no crap in the candy.
No, it was all delicious
good candy.
I had to test them myself just to make sure none of them were poisoned.
It was a literal ton of candy that we had to purchase. And then dividing it up the night before, we had to do it on Thursday night. And we had about 6 people just running back and forth the entire length of the hallway of the panel room area, dropping candy in all those tins because we had to create about 400 of them. And we get it done in about 2 hours.
Good job, man.
And we all stink of candy.
You got that candy stink on you.
Exactly.
Just can't wash it off. I think my favorite part was just interacting with all the people who were walking around. I too also had a booth. I was selling The Death of Superman Lives What Happened, a documentary that Holly Payne and I made, so you should check it out. Go to our website, another pimp style thing, www.tboslwh.com. You can get it right now, digital download, but we actually had the Blu-ray on sale there. So a lot of people came up to us, but it was really just great just to interact with a lot of other people. When you have a booth and you're working, it's hard to get around. So I wasn't able to get around to everywhere, but I was near Lawrence. So we a lot of our friends also have booths and stuff. So it's a good community feeling. So that's what I really like about Comikaze, is a community feeling of all the nerds all having fun and doing stuff together.
You know, Stan, he gets around. You can go to, you should be able to go to realstanlee.com to maybe see his appearance schedule. He does do other shows, but the best place to see him is at Comikaze, because not only is it Stan, but we also have the Stan Lee Museum experience, where we bring the most incredible things. Last time I teased it, but now that we've done it, I can talk about it. We had all of the Iron Man suits from the actual they were the actual suits from the Iron Man movie. We had a Hulkbuster, life-size Hulkbuster. We had all of these amazing elements from his life. We had his letters to meet presidents at the White House, pictures of him with Bill Clinton. We had all of his awards, his Nebula Award, his Hugo Award. We had all these prototypes for products that never got made. He had these, Gillette was going to do a line of Avengers shavers for men. And I guess they never did it, but he got them all signed by the cast, and the Hulk one was like huge. And then what was really special was the first copy of Spider-Man from when it was printed, where he took it, signed it, and stuck it in his drawer from back in the day. All this original artwork that all of his friends have done for him. And probably my favorite piece is there was a painting of Stan that was done by Bob Kane.
Wow.
And that was incredible, because most people thought they were rivals. They weren't. They were friends.
Pals hanging out, having dinner and stuff.
Changing the world.
That's right.
And so that you want to go there to see Stan.
Definitely.
That's what
it is called Stan Lee's Comikaze.
Exactly.
So I'm not waiting for Bob Kane's Comikaze. I don't think that's going to happen. Speaking of Stan Lee, what about Grumpy Cat? I heard that cat was there.
Grumpy Cat was there, and Grumpy Cat was huge, and you know he was there because you got a picture with him.
I did.
Actually, she's a she.
Correct. It is a she. There she is. Yep. And she was asleep a lot of the time, but authentic. And there's a great picture of Stan with Grumpy Cat.
Yeah, Grumpy Cat's not the most active cat in the world, but once again, and also they say don't touch her. It's not like, imagine if you were that cat and 7,000 people were trying to aggressively pet you. That's why they say just let the cat chill. So
Yeah, he was passed out in the Hot Topic booth.
Yeah,
but it was fun.
Yeah, he's having a good time, and he's very cute in person. She is very cute in person. General views of Comikaze. What are your thoughts? Let's wrap it up by talking about Comikaze. That's what this show is all about. Comikaze all year long.
Yes.
There's people getting married next year. At least 48 people. 48,000 people.
You're
getting
marrying
married.
every single one.
I am personally going to marry 3 of them. Not every single one. Don't give me all this hard work here.
Sister wives.
Yeah. So what do you think?
For me personally, besides our baby La Geek So Chic, which was a knockout on Friday, my other tie for a favorite was the after party of Comikaze. If you weren't at the after party, you missed it. It was incredible. It was co-hosted by myself and Bernie Bregman of Nerds Like Us. And Keith, how incredible was it? It knocked our socks off with Makeout Monday and the flux capacitors, both
DMC. It's tricky.
Yeah.
It's tricky on stage.
Gerald
Come on.
from DMC did Tricky, and then.
He was joined by Jeremy Shada, who's the voice of Finn from Adventure Time, and they did Walk This Way, and it was unreal. It was just such an incredible feeling.
We sold out. There was 3,000 people, I think, that came in and out throughout. We had a line around the door. We couldn't let people in.
Where did all those people get those lightsabers?
They gave them out. We gave them out.
Because I was like, what the hell is going on here? How did they know to bring all these lightsabers?
Blinky Lights was so kind and donated the boxes and boxes and boxes to us. So if you saw us, we were just chucking them out, and everybody were like, who wants lights?
See, I missed that. I was busy getting drunk as all hell. So then I just showed up, and then the flux capacitors were playing, and I was like, these guys are really good.
I want to ask if anyone in the audience, was anybody at the party? Oh, there we go. One person.
We got one boo.
One boo. That person.
Comikaze 2016, guys.
Yeah,
What's happening?
It's
How about
gonna
you
be
over there? Were you at the party?
I want a lightsaber. Where do we get one? Can we get one now? Can you like? We'll do a fight. We'll fight
I know,
each
right?
other.
I'll see what I can do. Blinky Lights, where are you? I think
We'll
you're
hook
North
you
Hollywood.
guys up.
Yeah.
So what, Keith, next year, Comikaze 2016, we already know 700 people are getting married there.
Right.
The number gets bigger and bigger
It's
every
It's going to be an
time.
all-day affair.
What can we expect?
Bigger and better. This year was our biggest show ever. And we are over the moon with how it went. It exceeded our expectations. We've had a lot of amazing feedback. We are going to be even bigger because we have more of the convention center. I think we're going to have more stars, more celebrities, a lot more shopping. We're going to continue to diversify. We're a little before, actually, Halloween is not on the weekend anymore for like the next 5-6 shows. It's on Monday, actually 5 shows. It's on Monday this year, but we're still going to do all the Halloween stuff. So we're still going to have the kids' costume contest. Obviously, we're still doing the cosplay. We're going to have trick-or-treating the day before Halloween, so you can get all your candy.
Kids can double candy.
They don't. You
You're
don't.
welcome,
You don't even need.
Yeah.
Once you get your candy there, you're done. Like you won't even go out because you'll hit one house and
Kids
then
will do
Yeah.
the double candy.
Oh, yeah,
It's like, I'm going to
think so.
Comikaze, then real
I
Halloween.
know, they might be in a sugar coma on Halloween.
That's right.
Right, and I think it's just going to continue to grow, and we're going to be looking to do more like the prop making national championships, the cosplay national championships. The prop making national championships will have a bigger prize, and we're really excited with our partners. Like Invocademy is going to do more. Vanheim Studios is going to be doing more. Someone over here is a little connected to that. But also our other sponsors like Loot Crate and Hot Topic, of course. They're going to continue to do more, bring in more experiences like Grumpy Cat.
We're going to have a bigger and badder Le Geek So Chic fashion show.
Yes.
It's going to knock your
Yeah.
socks off.
Yep.
This year, I think we had 50 models, 60 models. Maybe next year we'll have more. Who knows?
732.
732.
And one of the
they're
things
going to
this
get
is-
married on stage
Yeah,
while we're at it.
models getting married left and right.
And one of the things we're also going to do is we're going to be adding a pre-opening shopping opportunity. So where there's no programming against it, only the vendors are open. And it's a chance for people to come in and shop only. And really what that's also for is for all the people who are super busy
Right.
and are too busy manning their own booths or their own events, for them to come in along
awesome.
with VIPs to just shop. That's a big thing for us because,
Brilliant.
again, we want our vendors to sell their wares. We think we have the best shopping. It is Geek Black Friday. And
Totally.
this is the place to get your holiday stuff.
That's exciting, especially for me. I had to run around to get T-shirts. I remember it was like,
and more of these beauties.
Yeah. Amazing
This
T-shirts
is our
are
merch
available.
this year. Our
Fantastic.
Cthulhu rat is what we call him.
What little shopping I got to do was just when I was going from point A to point B, like from my booth out the hall.
Right.
of
Kind of
my-
try to work it. Like, I
Yeah.
went this way, I'll
I would
work
just
this
take
way
the
back.
long way around. But what I saw was amazing, and I was really excited.
For those of you who came to the show, thank you for coming. We couldn't do it without you. We do it for you. Keep coming back and supporting all of our wonderful exhibitors and seeing the great products that these guys create. And thank you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, definitely. Comikaze is a really amazing comic book convention, plus everything else that's in there. It's just all genres mixed together. It's a lot of fun. So if you didn't check it out this year's over. Get ready for next year. It's going to be
2016.
insane. 2016, yo. We'll see you next month, December 8th.